All right. So today we are starting with a review of the imperfect subjunctives, which is something that we started last week and that you were working with a little bit yesterday as we delved into indirect statements. So I had you give second-person forms, singular and plural, active and passive, for just imperfect, because that's your first subjunctive verb tense. So let's start with dare. We'll go from left to right. Dares is singular, daretis is plural, and these are both the active forms. To take the active and make it passive, we have to take off the S and replace it with ris. So these are the passive forms here, dareris. It's a little, cumbersome to pronounce. And then daremini, that's the plural form. So good. All of these check out so far in terms of the imperfect forms. This is correct as a perfect active infinitive. Does this look familiar to you, what a perfect active infinitive is? So I don't know who wrote this, but how, either in hindsight or the person who constructed it, how do you make a perfect active infinitive? Yeah? Actually, you can keep the I. You just have to add SSE to it. Okay, good. So let's keep that in mind for the other two verbs that we're doing. These are still second singular. They're all second singular. So dokeris, dokeretis. Good. These are the active forms. And then this is the passive form, dokereris and dokeremini. Good. So the active forms and the passive forms all check out. Now we have to work on the infinitive. We want to create a perfect active infinitive. This is present active. So what would be our perfect active infinitive for dokeo, dokere? Dokuise. Good. All right. Moving along to invenire, we have the active form. You actually don't have to change the infinitive at all whatsoever. You just use this prepackaged infinitive and add endings to it. So you don't have to change its conjugation, which is what appears here. So you actually just want inveniras. Done. Here, inveniretis. Okay. These are the active forms. So then we have to adjust this one here. What do you think we should change this one to? I'm going to get a new marker because it's already in orange. What should we change this to? Yeah. Yeah. So we just want the infinitive, and then we're going to put the passive ending on. Invenireris. Okay. So this one is actually correct, inveniremini. So these are the passive forms. And then the perfect active infinitive, we have something that looks like the present infinitive, only the conjugation was adapted. Now that you know or remember a little bit more about creating a perfect active infinitive, what do you think this should be? Good. Excellent. Good. So this subjunctive unit is where we have the privilege/burden of incorporating every single thing that you've really learned this year. You have to know present infinitives to do imperfect subjunctive. You have to know your passive infinitives so that you can, passive endings, so that you can do passive endings anywhere, whether it's a deponent verb or a subjunctive verb, etc. And then here, you still need to know your infinitives. There's a reason for this. Take out your subjunctive notes if you don't already have them, because today we're moving forward. You all have them? It seems like most of you have a good baseline understanding of the imperfect subjunctive, which features the present active infinitive. So today we're going to move on to a new tense of the subjunctive. There are 4 total. You know one of them through and through. So today we're actually going to start with the pluperfect subjunctive. We are only today doing the pluperfect active subjunctive. We'll get to the passive eventually, don't worry. the pluperfect active subjunctive is pretty easy. It's not quite as easy as imperfect subjunctive, but it's pretty easy. All you have to do is take said perfect active infinitive, whatever that was for your verb, and to that, you're going to add a subjunctive ending. That's it. You do have to know how to form a perfect active infinitive. So that's what makes it slightly harder than the imperfect. Because with the imperfect subjunctive, you could just take one of the principal part infinitives that was just given to you. This one you have to do a little bit of legwork to get to the infinitive. But once you get to the infinitive, you just pop some endings on and you're done. Okay. Any questions? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have you all do examples, actually, and then we'll talk about them. So what I would like for you to do is, Dare, I'd like for you to create second person singular. For docere, please create third plural. These are all pluperfect active subjunctives. And then for in venire, whoops, I'd like for you to do first plural, pluperfect active subjunctive. See what you get, and then we'll go over it. Take 2 minutes or so. All right, Kaylee, can you try dare, second singular pluperfect active subjunctive? Mm-hmm. You need a little bit more to it. You're not just taking the third principal part, you have to create the whole perfect active infinitive. Yeah, I think you have too many syllables in your pronunciation, but you have the right idea. Okay. All right. So here was that perfect infinitive that you just created in the warm-up, and then you're tacking on an ending. It's not as complicated as I think you think it is, well, general you. Tara, you want to try docere, third plural? Good. Excellent. And finally, we have in venire in first plural. Natalie? Good. Good. So, perfect infinitive, personal ending. Perfect infinitive, personal ending. Just as a word of advice for the rest of your Latin career, when you are asked to identify a verb or identify the grammar of a verb, you will need to provide all 5 of these identifying factors. So if I ask you what is dedices, you need to be able to write it is second person, singular, pluperfect, active, subjunctive. So this is identifying what's called the person. This is the number. This is the tense. This is called the voice, active or passive, and this is the mood. So all of these things must be identified from here moving forward. You do know all these things. It's just a question of producing them. Any questions? How do you like Pluperfect subjunctive? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle? Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. Can you take out your textbooks then, so we can move on to other pursuits?